If you want to carve a feather stick with a Swiss Army knife or another knife, the most challenging step is to keep the angle of attack as precise as possible while carving the curls. The angle of attack is the angle between the surface of your stick and your knife blade. So if you have problems to carve well working super fine feathers, this is probably an interesting video for you. Hello YouTube! Welcome to another Swiss Army knife project video. Today I want to show you how I craft a feather stick with just a Swiss Army knife. If you want to craft a project with just a small Swiss Army knife instead of a super stable fixed blade, it's often the same. We have to work with less strength but more brain power. That means we have to use the best technique possible. So in this case, if you want to make a feather stick from a branch with this diameter, it's a hard task to shorten it and to split it that we have access to the dry wood in the center. So we have to work with smaller diameters. But hey, it doesn't matter, because a small stick is often easier to find, and with this technique I show you today, you are able to craft such fine curls that they burn more or less direct from a green stick. First of all, I want to tell you some basics. Regardless if you work with such a piece of wood or with such a small branch, or if you work with a Swiss Army knife or a fixed blade, what you need is a super sharp knife, and you need a stick which is straight grain without side branches. That you are able to craft long fine curls, you need sensitivity for the wood and for the knife, and it's all about precision and keeping the right angle of attack. If you change this angle just a little bit, the curl will break off too early, or the knife will bite deeper into the wood and you will end up with coarse curls. In the most of the videos and posts I have seen to this topic, the people guide stick and knife by hand. So they work like this. Or like this. Or they anchor the knife with the front of the knee, like this. Please don't understand me wrong. I like these techniques too, and a lot of people are super happy with these techniques and they get super results. But if you work like this, you have two sources of inaccuracy. First is the position of the stick, second is the position of your knife, or the angle of your knife. And even if you hold your knife in front of the knee, this is not 100% anchored. Or if you put your stick on the trunk, this is not really stable. You can still move it with your hand. And that's why I think these techniques use a lot of practice and use a lot of sensitivity for the wood and for the knife. And to be honest, for such a high precision task, I prefer to guide just one thing instead of two. And especially if you are a beginner, you make yourself a favor if you fix the knife tip in a trunk. I show you now how this works. So for the technique I want to show you today, you have to insert the tip of your knife into the trunk. And please be careful, because Swiss Army knife can fold in like this. Now the knife blade is 100% anchored in this direction or in this direction. The only thing you can do to change the angle of attack is to move the stick like this or like this. And now we have already reduced one source of inaccuracy. It makes absolutely sense if you put your knife blade not in a 90-degree angle in the trunk. Because if you put it in a 45-degree angle, you can reduce the penetration angle. I'll show you what I mean. If this is the knife blade and this is the stick, the knife blade in a 90-degree angle to the trunk, and now I pull back the stick like this, I have a big penetration angle. If you put your knife blade in a 45-degree angle and you pull back your stick, you have a much smaller penetration angle. So now a second little trick how you can increase the accuracy. If you work with just a short stick like this, and you hold it at the very end, and I move my hand 1 centimeter to the left and to the right side, the angle of attack changes a lot. If you work with a long stick and you hold it at the very end and you move your hand 1 centimeter to the left or to the right side, there change almost nothing. So what I want to say is, if you work with a long stick, this forgives you more angle errors than a short stick. Oh, I forgot to tell you which wood sorts are the best for making feather sticks. And to be honest, I don't want to pay too much attention on this question, because in a survival or bushcraft situation you have anyway to work with the material you find in the specific situation. But of course, I would say fir, spruce, birch, maple, hazel and all these kind of woods works well, but at the end of the day you have to try out if it works or not. But now I want to show you how to craft a feather stick, in this case with a hazel branch. So the first thing I do is I'm looking for a straight part of the branch, and then I remove the bark. So, like this. Next step is to flatten the area where I want to make the curls. I would say this is done, and now you can start to make the curls. So normally at the beginning of the process you need a little bit patient until it works well, and if the first curls fall off, doesn't matter. In my opinion, this is the easiest way to craft a well-working feather stick with just a Swiss Army knife, especially for beginners. And yes, such fine curls burn down very fast, but they ignite also very easy. And if you want to make a long burning fire starter, I recommend to put some resin on it, and this will increase the burning time significantly. So now you're ready to start the fire. So my friends, as you could see, these feather sticks worked perfect. And please keep in mind, I used total green hazel. And I cut this hazel maybe 2 hours before. And I needed maybe 10 minutes for making these 3 feather sticks. So the first 2 feather sticks had a little bit time to dry. But believe me, if you make such fine curls, they burn more or less direct. So my friends, I hope this was interesting for you. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and see you next Friday. Ciao!